welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason at the corner of Vine and Sunset Boulevards in Hollywood, California, part of Los Angeles. But I'm going to take you on a long stroll through Hollywood history. I'm talking about the legends. I'm not talking about hangouts of today, although that may still be possible. But yes, there are plenty of cool sights to see that are retro on this tour. Some landmarks are now gone, but they have been historically marked, or they got a historical marker by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. These markers are like red rectangular ones that have been placed by the Chamber of Commerce probably 10 or 15 years ago. I don't really have an exact year or date on that one. And I'll show you a few other landmark spots as well. So I'm going to do my best to show you around. It's not really sunny out here. It's kind of rare for it to be cloudy, I guess, but then again, it's October. But I'm going to go ahead and start the tour. There's probably close to 45 of those rectangular ones. I may be missing some for all I know. But this is a nice place to start, right at the corner of Vine. I'm going to end up at Hollywood Boulevard. So come with me and let's start the tour. Okay, so this is Chase Bank. And then yeah, this fountain's not really active, and I see a lot of fast food stuff here. But I'll show you that mural in just a second, but this is actually a time capsule. On February 13th, 2004, the entertainment industry's time capsule, buried on this world-famous corner since 1954, was opened to commemorate another 50 years of Hollywood history. It was on this block that Cecil B. DeMille directed Hollywood's first full-length feature, The Squaw Man, for the Jesse L. Lasky Feature Play Company. And the site became the birthplace of Paramount Pictures. NBC Radio City was based here from 1938 to 1964, and today is home to Washington Mutual. To mask this special occasion, a new time capsule was buried containing memorabilia reflecting the entire first century of Hollywood. In a ceremony co-hosted by Honorary Mayor Johnny Grant, Chairman of the Hollywood Historic Trust, and the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, Washington Mutual was entrusted to house this capsule site, slated to be unearthed in 2037 during Hollywood's 150th anniversary celebration. So 2037 is about 14 years from now. Okay. And yes, this is a very busy intersection. I mean, yeah, I just heard all these aggressive drivers honk at each other. I'm sure they weren't honking at me. And by the way, if you are going to be cruising down these boulevards, whether it be walking by yourself or with somebody, definitely be aware of your surroundings. I mean, yes, there are plenty of crazies on the streets, and don't be shocked if you smell marijuana, pot, or whatever you call it, and urine. I know it sounds weird coming from me, but well, let's face it though, Hollywood at one time was the glamorous city in the world. And this is not my opinion. This is coming from the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce's website. So it's kind of sad hearing that from them. But here's that mural. It's got Rudolph Valentino, Mary Pickford, John Barrymore with Dolores Costello, Betty Davis, Frederick March. Man, and they got a lot of names and scrolled on there too. I wish I could show you all of them. But I'm going to go ahead and start over here. This place used to be a record shop. There's a historical marker that accompanies it. Here we go. All right, so now I'm approaching what used to be Wallach's Music City, site number 25. One of the most famous music stores in the country, operated here from 1940 to 1978. It was the first music store to seal record albums in cellophane and put them in display racks for customers. It was also the first to have demonstration rooms for listening. Music fans flocked here to meet artists like Judy Garland and Johnny Mercer to have them sign sheet music of their latest hits. Owner Glenn Wallach started Capitol Records from a storefront office in the building. All right, pretty cool. So here's where it was. All right, here's site number 26, the TAV Celebrity Theater. Doesn't look like it's there anymore because it was a smaller building, but originally the Hollywood Recreation Building, which housed a bowling alley, it became the site of one of radio's most popular audience participation shows in the 30s and 40s, Tom Brenneman's Breakfast in Hollywood. Frank Sinatra broadcast the Lucky Strike hit parade from here. Other shows filmed here include the Merv Griffin Show, Jeopardy, The Dating Game, and Hollywood Squares. Irving Berlin composed in upstairs offices. From 1949 to 1956, it served as the first ABC West Coast studios. Okay, well, that's pretty much what we're looking at right now. But yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond. And also, don't forget to check out this PlayStation Spider-Man 2 promo. It just came out, I think, less than a month ago. I'm not a video game enthusiast, but I'm sure there's lots of you who are. And by the way, I will be crisscrossing here and there on Hollywood and Vine Boulevards because they're on both sides of the street. Here is number 23, Jesse L. Lasky Feature Play Company. This is the site where the first feature-length motion picture was filmed in Hollywood. Cecil B. DeMille, Jesse Lasky, and Samuel Goldfish rented a horse barn / film studio on the site in 1913 for the production of The Squaw Man. Produced on a budget of $15,000, the movie earned more than $225,000. Within 18 months, the studio grew to occupy 2 city blocks. The company was the precursor to Paramount Pictures. The Lasky DeMille barn has been relocated to 2100 North Highland Avenue. And just to the left of the marker is this small plaque. I could have easily walked by it, but I'm glad I didn't notice it. I mean. All right, Selma Avenue and Vine Street, a site of historic importance. The beginnings of Hollywood. This location, Selma Avenue near Vine Street, served as the headquarters for the Paramount Film Company when, in 1916, Lasky merged companies with Adolph Zukor. Paramount remains the oldest film company within the geographical location of Hollywood. Some very interesting stuff. Here I am at the Hollywood Plaza Hotel, site number 28. One of 4 major hotels built in Hollywood in the 1920s, Jackie Gleason, Doris Day, and comedian Joe Frisco were one-time residents, as well as many movie and vaudeville actors who were performing locally. Once housed one of Hollywood's most glamorous night spots, Clara Bow's It Cafe, named for and operated by the sultry Roaring Twenties film actress. Stars such as Gene Autry, Milton Berle, and Pat Buttram would gather outside and trade jokes. Oh, so it was literally here then. Okay. Very neat. Oh, look, somebody painted a thing on Elizabeth Taylor. Huh. Cleopatra. All right, here's one about the Taft Building. Marker number 21. I don't know what happened to number 22. But anyway, Hollywood's first high-rise office building in 1924 provided office space for such famous personalities as Will Rogers. The offices of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences were here from 1935 to 1945. In the 1940s, legend has it that Clark Gable and Jack Warner would play craps in the basement on their lunch hours. It was built on land owned by the pioneer Hollywood Taft family. The conservative neo-Renaissance building was designed by Walker and Eisen. Yeah, get a little look at that from where I'm standing. All right, so this is the intersection of Hollywood and Vine. I'm going to go up a little bit that way because I want to see the Capitol Records building, but I will eventually turn that way. The rest of the video, it's Hollywood Boulevard. Now I gotta cross the street. That's the Frolic Room. So now we are approaching the Capitol Records building, and as a matter of fact, that is it right there. Celebrating 75 years of recorded music from 1942 to 2017. Cultural heritage Monument, number 857. And then I thought that was the entrance, but apparently it's in the rear, and I'm not allowed to trespass. But I do want to get a little shot of Capitol Record Star. And then I'm going to read the marker. And then I'll show you a better view of the Capitol Records building. Okay. Number 18. The world's first circular office structure was designed to resemble a stack of 45 RPM records. Artists recording in its studios since its completion in 1956 have included such luminaries as Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Peggy Lee, Dean Martin, the Beatles, and the Beach Boys. The rooftop beacon flashes Hollywood in Morse code. The architects were Welton Beckett and Associates. Okay, here's a shot from across the street. But yeah, it looks so cool seeing it in person finally. But yeah. Now, as far as the whole stack of 45 RPM records thing, some say it's a coincidence, some say that was the original intent, but either way, it looks cool. All right, now we're approaching another marker. This looks like a really nice, fancy building. What did this building used to be? It used to be the Palace. Site number 17, known as the Hollywood Palace Theatre when it opened in 1927. Later as the El Capitan, then as the NBC Radio Theater, and finally the Hollywood Palace. It was home for Ken Murray's Blackouts, the Colgate Comedy Hour, Lawrence Welk Show, Hollywood Palace Variety Show, This Is Your Life, and the Jerry Lewis Show, among others. In 1952, the first nationally televised telethon occurred here to raise funds for the U.S. Olympic team, with Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, and Johnny Grant. Oh, wow. So it looks like now it's, I guess it's a theater maybe? Or no, it's a music venue, it looks like. Dance music venue, EDM. Oh, look at those glass or brass doors. Gold doors, I should say. All right, we are gonna go back to Hollywood Boulevard. So here's a historical marker about Hollywood and Vine. And I won't read the whole thing, but I'm just going to say the Hollywood Boulevard Commercial and Entertainment District is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Comprised of more than 100 buildings, the district extends along the boulevard from Argyle Avenue to Sycamore Avenue. Most of the buildings were constructed in the 1920s and 1930s during the golden age of Hollywood. They are the community's physical link to the past. And Hollywood and Vine, an intersection known the world over, is at the heart of the entertainment capital of the world. Nearby, motion picture studios, TV and production and recording studios, radio stations, theaters, yada yada yada. I mean, during Hollywood's golden age, Hollywood and Vine was home to many of the most famous nightclubs, theaters, and restaurants. Celebrities danced the night away at the Brown Derby, Sardis, Clarabow's, Ed Cafe, and Al Levy's Tavern. They met their fans for breakfast at Tom Brenneman's, a restaurant from which live interviews were broadcast on national radio. The skyscrapers at Hollywood and Vine are symbols of the importance of the intersection in the golden age of Hollywood. All right, that's basically what I'm going to read from there. Okay, so this building is going to be kind of hard to see because of the tree, but this was the Guaranty Building. It's now a life exhibition. Site number 16, this Beaux Arts office building was where famous entertainment columnist Hedda Hopper hung her hat. Built in 1923, it was one of several palaces of commerce along the boulevard and was the second building on the boulevard to meet the height limit for the city. Charlie Chaplin and Cecil B. DeMille were investors in the building. The architects were John C. Austin and Frederick M. Ashley. Here we go. This is a much better shot. This is from the intersection of Hollywood and Ivar Avenue of that building. Lots of stories. Here we are now at the Knickerbocker Hotel. That must be the entrance. But there is a historical marker about it. Site number 15. The Knickerbocker Hotel, built as a luxury apartment house in 1925, this later became a hotel. Its Lido room was a popular hangout. Rudolph Valentino was often seen here dancing the tango. Okay. In 1954, Marilyn Monroe would sneak through the kitchen to meet her future husband Joe DiMaggio at the famous watering hole. Elvis Presley, Red Skelton, D.W. Griffith, Betty Davis, and Cary Grant all lived here. Bess Houdini conducted a seance from the roof, trying to communicate with her deceased husband, Harry Houdini. By the way, that guy died on Halloween. He promised he'd haunt his wife. I don't know if that ever happened. Here's a much better view of the Knickerbocker, especially with the big letters on top, the Knickerbocker. Here's site number 14, Security Trust and Savings. This imposing Italian Renaissance revival structure with its Romanesque window arches was built in 1920. It was a power center of the entertainment industry and is still used by the industry today. Wyatt Earp, Charlie Chaplin, the Three Stooges, Lana Turner, and W.C. Fields are said to have maintained accounts at the bank. Cecil B. DeMille got financing and Howard Hughes kept his jewel collection here. The architects were John and Donald Parkinson. Alright, so here's a legendary building right here. And there's a historical marker, but unfortunately I'm going to have to do it under a construction scaffolding. But this was the Owl Drug and Julian, I can't see that. I think it says median. But part of the original 160 acres that was owned by Harvey Henderson Wilcox and his wife, Dieta, that they named Hollywood. After his death, Dieta Wilcox married into the Beveridge family, a member of which commissioned this building in 1934. This is the finest example of an Art Deco streamlined modern building in the historic district. Its windswept tower and its horizontally reinforced window design typify this architectural style. I apologize for the bad lighting on this one. So I'm taking a little break from Hollywood Boulevard and taking you to Cahuenga Boulevard, and this is not really part of the tour, but I thought I'd show it to you anyway. This is known as the Chaplin-Keaton-Lloyd Alley. 3 of these legendary Hollywood movie actors filmed scenes from their movies here, and there was actually a dedication ceremony last year. The surviving descendants of, or I'm sorry, most of the descendants of these actors were here when they unveiled this historical marker. But here is Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd. All of them were big-time movie stars during Hollywood's golden era, during the silent era. So 3 of the greatest comedies of all time were filmed in part along this east-west alley from Cahuenga to Cosmo. Each of these landmark movies has been inducted into the National Film Registry at the Library of Congress, cinema's highest honor. 3 iconic stars, 3 timeless films, 1 Hollywood alley. So The Kid, I've seen that movie. It's a good movie. You can watch it on the National Archive website, or I'm sorry, archive.org, the Internet Archive, my bad there, or on YouTube. There's also Cops, starring Buster Keaton, filmed here in 1922, and then 1923, Harold Lloyd was here for Safety Last. Oh man, check it out. And I'm going to get one last look at the alley, even though I can't really see it all, but it's obviously part of this building. But I'm glad somebody had the idea of putting this together. Oh yes, hallowed ground, baby. All right, back to the tour. Here is a restaurant called Tequila, and that's the Jane's House entrance, or was, but they kept the gate up. But here's a marker about the Jane's House. Marker, site number 10. Built in 1903, this is the last remaining Victorian home on Hollywood Boulevard. It is typical of the mansions along the boulevard in the early 1900s, before the street became a bustling commercial district. From 1911 to 1926, the 3 James sisters operated the prestigious Mrs. James School, here attended by the children of such famous movie personalities as Douglas Fairbanks, Cecil B. DeMille, Thomas Ince, Jesse Lasky, Noah Beery, Jack Holt, and Charlie Chaplin. And then just not far is another marker. All right, so right here, these are the Hillview Apartments. This is site number 11. The Mediterranean-style Hillview apartments built in 1917, that is, provide people working in the film industry with a much-needed place to live in Hollywood. Actors were considered unreliable tenants by many landlords at the time. Some area boarding houses had signs reading "No actors, no dogs." Actress Mae Bush of Laurel and Hardy fame resided here. The Hillview was built by movie mogul Jesse L. Lasky, who saw the housing need and made the investment. Let's get a good look at that again. I wonder who all lives here. Okay, it says here the Harlan Residences renting studio apartments. Okay, that looks like a tenant right there. Here is the Bain Building, number 9, site number 9. The most elegant Spanish Revival building in the historic district was built in 1926. It features delicate wrought iron balconies, deeply inset bullseye windows, and a stylish tower. Of special note are the second-story windows, which appear to be stationary, but which actually turn on a central pivot. The architects was Gogarty and Weil. It's a souvenir stand. I'll see if I can get you a picture of the actual building. And here's the building. All right, now we're at the Kress department store, or what used to be. But here's what it says. Site number 33, the S.H. Kress department store. Built in 1935 in the Art Deco style as a S.H. Kress department store. In 1947, Frederick Mellinger moved his lingerie business, Frederick's of Fifth Avenue, from New York to its West Coast location here, creating Frederick's of Hollywood. He restored the striking Art Deco architectural detail. The architect was Edward F. Sibbert. Frederick's innovated countless styles of under fashions, including the world's first push-up bra, the first front hook bra, first bras with shoulder pads, and first water bra. All right, ladies, some interesting trivia for you. This here is the Hollywood Cherokee Building. It's a souvenir shop, but there's also jewelry and there's also henna tattoos and whatnot. But in Cherokee Street, I'm assuming that's what it's named after, is right there, crossing Hollywood Boulevard. But the Cherokee Building was Hollywood's first drive-in business. It catered specifically to the automobile by having a large motor entrance at the rear of the building where motorists could park and then walk through a Spanish courtyard complete with a towel fountain into the rear entrance, rather than using the Hollywood Boulevard entrance. The Larry Edmonds Bookshop, a theater and film-only bookstore, opened here in 1938. All right, now I'm getting across the street. Okay, now this is a place that, you know, I had really small thoughts about eating here, and it looks like they're not open. This place is called Musso and Frank Grill. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. It's been loved by a lot of Hollywood celebrities. It's been frequented by celebrities. There's a lot of stories in connection to this place since 1919, but this historical marker, site number 8, the Musso and Frank Grill. Okay, Hollywood's oldest restaurant opened at this location in 1919. Columnist Hedda Hopper and Luella Parsons conducted interviews here, and Charlie Chaplin was also a frequent visitor. Writers such as Dash Hammett, Ernest Hemingway, Aldous Huxley, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and William Faulkner dined here for what became known as the Algonquin Round Table West. Among the many celebrities who are regulars at the restaurant are Raymond Burr and Merv Griffin. Now, I did read somewhere where Rudolph Valentino and Charlie Chaplin used to race horses down here on Hollywood Boulevard, and they would end up here, and whoever would win would buy the others dinner or lunch or whatever. And this was during their breaks in between filming. This was also supposedly here where Johnny Depp was eating here. I don't know if it was his family or agent, but this was where he got his phone call where he found out he had his first ever role, and that was in Nightmare on Elm Street. But I mean, I'm sure there's lots more stories to this place, so if you want to add on in the comments, please do so. Right here is the Hollywood Center building, and today doesn't really look like very much. It's all chained up and everything. It says the World of Wonder. But I'm going to go ahead and see what that marker says. Site number 35, the Hollywood Center building. The first home of the Screen Actors Guild or SAG, was located here from 1933 to 1936 in a one-room office on the second floor. The Writers Guild of America also had its first office here. Albert Sheets' Circus Cafe, a glamorous underground cocktail lounge / restaurant, opened in 1935 in hopes of attracting celebrity union members who could hop on in an elevator and in seconds rub elbows with other entertainers. The building is an excellent example of a style of Art Deco known as zigzag. All right, pretty cool. Right here is the Egyptian Theatre, the legendary one, and here's the marker that goes with it, site number 36. Sid Grauman's first Hollywood movie palace opened in 1922 with the premiere of Douglas Fairbanks' Robin Hood. Egyptian sentries patrolled the roofline while harem girls ushered patrons to their seats. The Egyptian was the birthplace of the movie premiere, with searchlights crossing the sky, a red carpet from the street to the theater audience, and celebrities being introduced over a loudspeaker as they arrived in limousines. It was restored by American Cinematheque in 1998. So, okay, that's the entrance right there, but there's a construction crew working on it. And now here is the site of a legendary restaurant, but now it's a cantina. But the Pig and Whistle was a Hollywood hangout, or so I read, but let's see what it says here. Site number 37, Sidney Hodemaker opened Hollywood's first family restaurant that welcomed children in 1927 and featured rich hand-carved wood decor. Popular tunes were played on a pipe organ. The Hollywood Glee Club performed Friday evenings. Loretta Young dined here Sundays. Barbara Stanwyck dropped by several times a week. Other regulars included Spencer Tracy, Howard Hughes, Buddy Rogers, and Shirley Temple. The dancing flute-playing pig can still be seen above the marquee. All right, I gotta check this out. Okay, I don't see no... Oh, I see it. Yeah, the dancing flute. There it is. Can't really... I hope you guys can see it, but yeah. If you guys ever come down here, that's the Pig and Whistle. This was once a hotel, but is now the Church of Scientology Center. And there is a marker that goes with it. The Christie Hotel, site number 38. Built in 1922, the Christie Hotel was the first of Hollywood's luxury hotels. It offered a stylish innovation, private baths, a first in the community. The Georgian-styled architecture is not common to this area. Arthur B. Kelly was the architect. It was owned by Alan Charles Christie, two of early Hollywood's most powerful movie moguls. They were the first to open a studio in Hollywood, Nestor Studios. All right, here is the Hollywood Historic Theater, but now it's the Guinness World Records Museum. And here's site number 39, the Hollywood Theater. This was originally the Hollywood Theater, the second movie house in Hollywood and oldest still standing. It was remodeled to its Art Deco appearance in 1938. At the time, it opened in 1913. General admission was 10 cents, loge seats were 15 cents, and children were admitted for a nickel. In the 1930s, it was one of the first marquees to be changed from flat to triangular in order to be seen easier by motorists. And then, yeah, this is, again, the museum. All right, right here is the Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. And it's also the auditorium, not auditorium, well, with the ODD. And there's a historical marker just right up there. I'll go ahead and read it to you. This is actually known as the C.E. Toberman Company building. So originally a 4-story building, this classical facade was added in the 1920s. In 1935, the top 3 stories were removed to create the building as it is today. Hollywood's most prolific builder, C.E. Toberman, established his first office in an earlier building at this site. Over a 70-year period, he erected 29 commercial buildings in Hollywood, including the Chinese Theatre, Capitan Theatre, and Roosevelt Hotel. Here is the site of the Hollywood First National Bank, site number 5. When constructed in 1927, this was the tallest office building in Los Angeles. The architects Meyer and Holler also designed the Chinese Theatre, a fanciful combination of Gothic and Art Deco. The towering spire, buttresses, and motif of the Explorers suggests a sense of fantasy present in Hollywood in that era. The beehive above the entrance signifies the hope that it would be a beehive of activity. However, the 1929 stock market crash dashed those hopes and the bank closed. Okay, well, doesn't look like anything's doing now, but I find those sculptures really interesting. I guess these depository boxes hadn't been used in forever. In just a few steps is the Christie Realty Building. Site number 6, the Spanish Colonial Revival building, similar to the famous Brown Derby, was designed by Carl Jules Weil and built in 1928. He also was the sets designer for Casablanca and Yankee Doodle Dandy. The second floor housed the Embassy Club, a private club opened by Eddie Brandstatter that catered to film stars who wished to avoid the crowds next door at the Montmartre. The Snow White Cafe, which opened in 1946, has an original mural painted by Disney animators above the inside entrance. And the cafe they're talking about still exists. All right, pretty cool. All right, here's one of the murals. Still looks nice and clean. I don't know which, oh, that's gotta be Grumpy right there on the left. Dopey on the right there. Pretty cool. Oh, don't eat that apple. We hope we have pleased you. And just outside the Snow White is the Hollywood Wax Museum. World famous, or so they say. I'm not really quite sure what I'm not really into the whole wax museum thing. Then again, I've never been to one, but besides looking at sculptures, what else do you get, really? Here is site number 7, the Montmartre Cafe. Hollywood's first nightclub opened on the second floor in 1922. Its motto was, where everyone goes to see and be seen. Patrons included Buddy Rogers, Charlie Chaplin, Marion Davies, Rudolph Valentino, Fatty Arbuckle, Gloria Swanson, Winston Churchill, and Prince George of England. Bing Crosby, while performing here, met his first wife, Dixie Lee. Joan Crawford was discovered when she won the Charleston dance competition. The Lee Strasberg Institute was housed here in the 1970s. And that is the Medieval Torture Museum. So the nightclub was on that floor. Wow. Well, that's where you could be seen, I guess. And what is this? A Mona Lisa holding an iPhone, taking a selfie of herself with the Kardashian lips. Okay. All right, next up. All right, so you had the Ripley's Believe It or Not Theater, and then you had the Hollywood Museum, and you have another marker, and a statue of Marilyn Monroe from the 7-Year Itch. I'll show you those in a second. But first, the marker. Okay, this is the Max Factor building. Marker number 41. Max Factor, a Russian immigrant, pioneered screen makeup for which he received a Special Academy Award in 1929. That was the first year for the Academy Awards, by the way. He opened the Max Factor Hollywood Makeup Studio in 1928, where he taught Hollywood stars such as Lana Turner, Rita Hayworth, Claudette Colbert, and Jean Harlow to enhance their appearance. Specially decorated rooms were designed to complement the patrons' complexions and hair colors. Architect S. Charles Lee designed a remodel of the Art Deco building in 1935. Okay, so this is the Max Factor Makeup Studio. See the sign there, but that's actually the Hollywood Museum. It's not the Wax Museum, by the way. And here is that legendary, in the 1950s, this was considered really risque because, yeah, when her dress blew up, yeah, revealing whatever. But down here it says, "Shall Marilyn, how wonderful it was to have spent a little time with you, and how thrilling it is today to see you immortalized in my bronze statue for the joy of those who still love you. With the hope that they, taken by surprise, will turn to you with a smile and a heartfelt shall. Marilyn, Dominique O'Neary." Now we are at stop number 42, the El Capitan Theatre, the most lavish of 4 Hollywood Boulevard theaters designed for live performances, opened in 1926. Featuring stars such as Joan Fontaine, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., Lon Chaney Jr., Buster Keaton, Clark Gable, Henry Fonda, Jason Robards, and Will Rogers. It was renamed the Paramount Theater in 1942 and became a movie palace. Citizen Kane premiered here. Its original name and appearance were restored in 1990. The exterior is Spanish colonial style, and the interior is East Indian. All right, gonna get a look at the sign here, and here's some more stars. Steve McQueen, Ray Bolger. Okay, check it out. You see how it's all lit up and everything. And that is, oh man, look at the architecture in there. Holy crap. And yes, that is the ticket booth. Look on the inside, and the Marvels is going to be showing. Just look at the inside theater. Wow. So here is site number 43, the Masonic Temple. A neoclassic revival design built in 1921 was the work of John C. Austin, who also designed LA City Hall. The memorial service for silent film director D.W. Griffith, considered the father of American movies, was held at the Masonic Temple following his death in 1948. Among the stars who did filming or held events here were Charlie Chaplin, W.C. Fields, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, Bob Hope, Dean Martin, and Jerry Lewis. And as you can see, this is where the Jimmy Kimmel Live show is filmed here in Hollywood. Okay, so that over there is the TCL Chinese Theatre, used to be called Grauman's Chinese Theatre. I cannot walk across the street from here to who knows where, because apparently they're doing a Hollywood premiere tonight. I don't know for what movie, but security is telling everybody to get out, and I guess they're putting the red carpet in. I don't know. But yeah, here is the TCL Theater from across the street, and you see, I don't know if you can see it, but there is the red carpet. There's some dude standing on it, actually a man and a woman, but a lot of people all dressed up. Wow. Can't be more real, can't be more surreal than this. And right here is the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Before I read that marker, I'm gonna see what this is. Looks like Charlie Chaplin dedicated it to Hollywood from sculptor Emmanuel Savinsky, and from the Hollywood Arts Council, sharing Friends of the Arts, April 16, 1994. All right, really cool. But yeah, it still looks pretty ritzy. And then here's the marker. Site number 44, built in 1927 by a group of celebrities that included Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and Louis B. Mayer. Decided the first Academy Awards in 1929, a hideaway for Clark Gable and Carol Lombard. Marilyn Monroe did her first commercial shoot by the pool. The Cine Grill, which opened in 1936, was a popular night spot, giving stars such as Mary Martin a start. Regular patrons included Frank Capra, Dick Powell, W.C. Fields, Errol Flynn, and Ronald Reagan. Huh. I want to see if I can go into the entrance real quick. Now there's a bar. Now I'm not going to go any farther, but this here is the Johnny Grant Building. Looks like there's two markers here. I'll read this one, number 45. The Johnny Grant Building. In 1995, this building was named in honor of Johnny Grant, Hollywood's longtime honorary mayor, Walk of Fame chairman, and Goodwill ambassador. Built in 1919, it housed the Megalyn Dance Studio and later the Arthur Murray Dance Studio on the second floor. Gypsy Rose Lee rehearsed here in the 1930s when she was performing at downtown LA's Paramount Theater. Lucille Ball and Harriet Nelson shopped in the Irene Somerset dress shop on the ground floor. There's a plaque over there that talks about Tom LaBonge, but I'm not going to read that one. This is another one dedicated in honor of Hollywood's ceremonial mayor. He truly is Mr. Hollywood. So I did a video episode last year on its own. It was a short one, like 3 minutes long, but I thought I'd do this one again. Number 2, C.C. Brown's Ice Cream. As the birthplace of the hot fudge sundae, C.C. Brown's was a Hollywood landmark. It was located at the site from 1929 to 1996, and was popular with celebrities who dropped in after movie premieres at the Chinese Theatre. Fans lined up outside for hours waiting for stars such as Joan Crawford to sign autographs. Among the customers said to have indulged in the legendary sundaes were Judy Garland, Jackie Cooper, Barbara Stanwyck, Bob Hope, and Jack Benny. Now, I did read somewhere where Judy Garland did work here. I mean, I guess before she was in The Wizard of Oz or something like that. And Marlon Brando, he would park right here, or his limousine or whatever. He would enjoy his Sundays there. Elvis Presley was also a regular here. And of course, I don't think it's the birthplace of the hot fudge sundae. There's at least 6 or 7 towns or cities in the United States that had that claim to fame. So one in Illinois, one in Wisconsin. Yeah. So debate all you want about the origins of the hot fudge sundae. As you can see, this is now the Marshall store. Well, it's a souvenir store. This way you're flashy. All right, here we are at Numero Uno, and I don't know why it started here. This is a shopping center, in case you haven't noticed. Very upscale. There's a Target right there, and there's a Marshall's. But the Garden Court Apartments, which are right here on the site, from 1919 and 1985, stood the Garden Court Apartments. The magnificent Italian Renaissance structure boasted oriental carpets and baby grand pianos in every suite. Also 2 lavish ballrooms, billiards room, tennis courts, and pool. Hollywood personalities who lived here included Louis B. Mayer, Mayor of Metro Goldwyn Mayer, Max Sennett, creator of the Keystone Cops, Lillian Gish, Rudolph Valentino, John Barrymore, and Mae Murray. In other words, mostly during the silent era, I guess. All right, here is the last one. Number 46, the Hollywood Professional Building. This building comprised 5 stories when it was built by prominent Hollywood developer C.E. Toberman, referred to in this day as Mr. Hollywood, in 1925. In 1928, he added the final stories to the Gothic-style structure. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences had offices here from 1930 to 1935, as did the Screen Actors Guild from 1939 and 1956. Ronald Reagan, who was SAG president from 1947 to 1952, got his first taste of politics here. It was designed by architect Richard D. King. And this is officially the end of the historic walking tour. But yeah, you read that right, folks. Ronald Reagan, who would become the 40th president of the United States, that's when he realized, you know, he had to get into politics. And most of us probably do not know that he started out as a Democrat, and then he finally realized, well, I'm a Republican. I'm sure there's more to the story than that. Okay, so that wraps up the whole Hollywood and Vine tour. I know I should have done this in order, like going from 1 to 46, but I knew leapfrogging from Vine to Hollywood would probably be a lot better option on my part. But I hope you learned a lot. I mean, Hollywood, I hope the legacy remains alive, and I know today's celebrities don't really have the same ideas as, say, Rudolph Valentino or somebody from 100 years ago, for that matter. Yeah, it's been 100 years almost since he passed away, and the likes of Judy Garland. But then again, a lot of things are being shot all around Hollywood today, like around Burbank and parts of the LA suburbs. But Hollywood, she just said it sucks here, but I don't know if she's wrong or right. It's up to you to decide that. But anywho, I enjoyed taking you on this tour, learning a lot, and being part of this whole history thing. All right, I am Jason at the corner of Hollywood and Sycamore, signing off.